Hey, everybody. I don't know. You can't probably see anything. Sorry. I just figured I was going for a walk with Bandit here. It's dark out, but I was going to go get a pop at the local grocer. And I hear the rumblings. Mess and figured out I'm not doing anything right now. I guess respond. I guess. And I still I don't know how to share things on my phone. Like, I don't know if it's even possible through StreamYard, but Crystal Crime Time had been trying to reach out to Fred, and I don't tell people who to talk to and who not to talk to. Okay, but Fred is my friend, and I'm never gonna steer my friends in a bad direction. If they ask me who a certain person is, I might say, watch out for that one. I mean, what does she expect? Anyway, she put up on her community wall, some vague stuff and certain screenshots clipped to certain, you know, specific ways instead of the whole conversation. But then claimed to say that I told Fred to stop messaging with her. And Fred sent me the whole conversation. Nowhere in that, anywhere, did he say anything like, Ziggy told me to stop messaging you. Because I would never say that. For one. For two, I mean, yeah, I would tell him that you're crazy because that's true. I mean, sorry. You think you have all these civil lawsuits against you because, oh, you're onto something. That's what you try to act like in the messages with Fred. Then you sent him this picture of this guy who you kept calling Skeletor or something, or Skeleton. I thought you were talking about Cher. I'm like, what the hell are you even freaking talking about? And you acted like Fred is going to know who some Skeletor or Skeleton person is. He had no idea who you were talking about. He was just looking at pictures, answering your silly questions. But you put in your messages, Crystal, that I don't like you because of Scott H. You really think that's why I don't like you? I actually don't think of you. I know you think you're one of those that think you're more important than you really are. I don't think of you. And I don't think, I really don't think that it's because of Scott H. and why I don't think of you. He's a close. Oh, really? Well, either way, and that's another thing too. Either way, whoever that guy is, she was trying to insinuate that it was Scott H. Okay. basically. And she was mad because Fred told her she didn't think that was the same person in the two pictures that she showed. She acted mad, like, oh, I must have told Fred to say no to that too. But no, Crystal, he could tell the reason why he stopped messaging you, and if you would have posted everything, and you know why, because you start talking shit about me, and then try to say, you start talking to him like a normal, somewhat as normal as you could be, and then you, all out of nowhere, you started talking shit about me. You don't remember that? Well, you're sitting there saying, out of nowhere, you started telling Fred your opinion on our friendship, like he cares, or like I care. And I swear, I read the messages. I didn't see where he asked either. So I don't know why you gave your opinion like anybody wants it. But he didn't ask you for your opinion on our friendship or anything, or whether or not I'm a good one to have in his corner or not. I swear I looked everywhere in that conversation. I didn't see anywhere where Fred asked you for your opinion. But the truth is, you were trying to cause some shit, and he could tell. And so he just said, you don't have my best interest, and stop. I mean, it was obvious. He said, I'll just stick to TBI. I'll just stick to working with TBI. Thank you, though. That's what he said to you. Now, I mean, yes, that guy does look a lot like Scott, but yeah, I was perfect. But you were definitely up to something, and it was so obvious. So stop making up things like, oh, I told him to stop talking to you. That's a fucking lie. You know it. I was talking to, who was I? I was talking to on a group call. You sure you want Ziggy as a friend? Yeah. She was like sitting there saying, well, she started going on about how, well, honestly, she's like, I don't think it's bad that, Ziggy, that, you have Ziggy in your corner. I really don't, but I just think it's bad that, she answers everything for you and she leads you. It's like, no, I don't fucking lead him on anything. We had conversations, and that's how it is, Crystal. You think that you people look into everything. And I say people, I mean, when I say you people, and like my title, you're a lunatic just like the others. Yeah. Those that are the others, they know who they are. Or just like the rest of them, you know who you are. Hold on, let me find where did I put my money, honey? She's not neurotypical. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Even if That's what I was trying to be nice. All I told him as far as her. Shut up. Shut up. Okay, well, ring it up tomorrow then.
No, come on. Bring your stuff. I'm not saying nothing.
Huh?
Bring more stuff. No, you shut up, yeah? You saying to me.
Okay, all that.
Yeah. As close like so you better take stuff, no problem. Okay. You're talking on phone, that's
Okay, okay.
No problem. Be easier. Take your own shower now in it. 5-10 minutes you have easily. Okay, that's all. No problem. You want anything else?
No, I just want this. I swear. I'm sorry. Okay, you can just you can send me with. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I meant to do some readings, guys. That's what I was. I have to grab something. I don't want it. Oh, I have it. Oh, here. Is it enough for? I have $1 more on me. Okay. That's all I have. Is that enough to get one?
Okay. $3.10.
Uh-oh.
9 cents.
Here you go.
Take it.
I swear I only brought $3 with me because I thought I was just getting a pop. I swear. Oh shit! You just made me lose my people. There you are. Okay. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. See ya. Did you find the store? Did you find the key? Yeah. Okay, that's good. Oh, really? Oh my God. See ya. Last night, I came in here and he had lost his keys to the store. He's like, "Don't tell anybody, but I lost the keys to the store." It was like, "Oh shit, dude. Sucks to be you. Have a good night." Just kidding. No, but seriously, I felt bad for him. Glad the soda fountain is working, right? He tries to pull that on me and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, store's closed." Then he gets mad when I only bought a pop, and then he's a good salesman. He needs to be he really is. He is so extra. So yeah, no, Crystal. That was the point of this live. I didn't tell anybody not to talk to you or anything. You just could sniff out your craziness. I mean, come on, look at your guys' conversation. Like, he could tell, like, you just started being weird. That's it. That's why. Once I found out, so when you started making those posts, I was on the phone with him because I was like, he started telling me about your craziness, and I'm like, wait, who? And and then I was like, oh my God, not that one. You talked to that one. See, I didn't catch him in time. Had I caught him in time, he probably wouldn't have talked to you. But I'm not going to tell him no. Oh, don't talk to her. I'd just be like, watch out for that one. Oh, you did? You made a... Yeah. So in the conversation, Scott, I guess I supposedly don't like Crystal because of you. That's what she wants to believe. She wants to blame her whole life on you, Scott. She's obsessed with you. And then she was bragging about having 2 lawsuits out on her, saying, acting like, oh, that's not, acting like that was a badge of honor or something, meaning that she must have some info. No, Caitlin takes Athena. Athena gets to go. She gets to go every day too. Nice try, Truth Warrior. Love when people come in here acting like they freaking actually care. When I swear I've seen you talk so much shit about me everywhere. It's like, stop. Please stop acting like you care or are a decent person. Can't stand that fake stuff. Stalkerish, yeah. Like she put on her post that I told Fred not to talk to her or something. And I go, and Fred sent me the whole. I go, Fred, did you tell her I said that I knew that wasn't true? Sure enough, I looked through a conversation. I don't see anything about him saying that I told him not to talk to her. Which I think's funny because you know how long I've tried to get people to talk to Fred. And it was never easy because it was hard to get a hold of him back when he lived on Ben Hill, but still nobody really tried. Nobody really went out of their way or really even tried. They had opportunities. And now people want to try to say, oh, Ziggy is telling Fred not to talk to this or that person. It's like, yeah, she'll see you in a chat and she'll target you for no reason, just because of whose chat you're in. But she's quick, man. She's impulsive. I mean, it didn't take he didn't respond to one of her texts fast enough, I guess. And I don't know where she just started talking about how he's guilty or how he's been. Oh, she tried to say that law enforcement tried to tell him that law enforcement I said that he was the number. She goes, you know that law enforcement told you were the number one suspect. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, you lunatic? She told Fred in these messages after she started thinking, I don't know, she just turned into one of her other personalities, I guess, and then started going from halfway decent person to then I think she thought he was taking too long to respond or something, or was ignoring her or something, and she just freaking went off the handle and said it started talking stuff about me, saying that she thought that he really Crystal must, she has this whole case figured out. Let me turn this off real quick. Heinz 57. Oh, I was actually gonna just read cards. But I was gonna go for a walk and get a pop anyway, so I figured, hey. But no. I love when people say these things like people will just change the story to like I'm reading that conversation and I'm like, where the hell does that say anything about me telling him not to contact her? It's kind of like how, like what Jenna's going around doing with the circle jerks, saying I did this and that. And instead of just posting the proof, they have to make it into something. Jerry Dishner. I don't know. Maybe at some point I can add. I don't know if he's still in a. Oh, he said he's here. I guess he's in chat now, or he's listening, so he might respond. Fred, if you're listening, do you know he might respond? You said a who Dishner? Jerry Dishner. And then she asked her, she goes, does Ziggy still talk to Christy? Who's Christy? She asked him that, and I'm like, what does she mean by Christy? I can't think of who she means by Chris. If I still talk to Christy. Crystal Crime Time. The question is, Fred says, what's the question? Jerry Dishner. Jerry. Oh, the billboards, Christy. Oh, well, yeah. And he said no as far as this Jerry Dishner. I have like a slight headache. What are you guys doing in here? Oh, well, yeah, I guess, duh, I should have thought Chris. I don't know why I didn't think Christy Vincent. Talking. Logan was? Fred is covering for you. Oh, was she gifted membership in Empress? That was probably. Does Fred recognize Chase and Brad? No. But as far as a person who was under the name I'm Too Honest for This had purchased a lot of gift memberships yesterday on Empress. Are you serious? Pretty hot. That's horrible. Crystal Crime Time messaged Fred and then came up with some kind of crazy story in her head as to why he stopped messaging her, saying it was me that told him to stop messaging her or something. It's like she just made it up out of nowhere. But let's see, how long have I've only been live. Gosh, this might be the shortest live in Ziggy history because planning on, I need to go live and do some readings. No, not the Duchess channel. I don't think so. No, she goes by now she goes by Crystal's Crime Time. I don't know, something weird like art and AI something. AI art. I don't know. But anyways, if anybody's interested, I'm going to go live over on Empress. Now, I just wanted to come live and address that while I was... Why he thinks Dawn would drive to Chimney Top Loop. Is that what he said? Did he say that he thinks Dawn would go to Chimney Top? Speaking of, like, there's a rumor about Fred living up there on Chimney Top. He's never lived up on Chimney Top. He lived off of Horton Highway. Did Fred say something about that, about Chimney Top? I do remember somebody saying something about, I thought it was RJ saying, saying their theory was Chimney Top. I'm trying to remember what Fred said about Chimney Top. Now, remember when Don drove around for Sharon, he drove to Chimney Top. Oh, you just want his opinion. Oh, okay. And I don't know what question she means, like... Oh, okay, I see what you mean. I do know he was saying something to me about people saying he lived up on Chimney or Top or some road, and it's like, he's never lived. He said, I never said I lived there. Now he said he did live off of on Horton Highway or something for like a year. Hey, Intuitive Angel. I'll ask Fred that tonight. About Chimney Top. I need to also have Fred point out on the map. He said I lived on Horton Highway on the back side of Chimney Top, is what he said. And then somehow it got out that people were saying he's lived on Chimney Top or something. It doesn't sound like he said it, but he was meaning Horton Highway because, oh, yeah. He was demonstrating how to get out of Beach Creek with no cameras seeing you. Isolate that video. Which one's that? Be the Bean? Hey, Mother Nature. Well, he is kind of listening, but he was in a house meeting. They have a house meeting, like, pretty much, it seems like every freaking night at 9:30 or 9:35 or around that time. I'd have to. Is that video posted still, guys? So maybe I can watch it with him and get his thoughts. Like, he said, you can't get out of Beach Creek and not be on multiple cameras. Is what he just said. Fred, do you know why? Can you think of on why Don would, in his video, why Don would let me see how you put it. Why Don would go show going to Chimney Top Loop around for Sharon. He drove to Chimney Top. Why does Fred think Don would drive to Chimney Top? I don't know if I've seen that video. I'm sure I have. But he's saying right now that you can't get out of Beach Creek without being on cameras. Don said he knew a way with no cameras. Through the mountains. So I'm positive you can go from Beach Creek to Horton Highway across the mountains. Oh, and then you think maybe that's what he did? Horton Highway runs parallel with Beach Creek. Oh, okay. Fred says he feels like he was pulling people further away from the real area. I'll link for a second. Yeah. Hold on, let me figure out how to copy. Ah, shit. I have to pull it up on my. Let me just pull it up on my laptop here. What do you mean you have 2 phone numbers for me? He said too hard to get away across the mountain. Okay, here we go. Now I'll drop the link. He said too hard to get away across the mountain, across chimney top. Right, Rhonda Moon? I don't know. Is it really you?
Yeah, it's me.
Or an imposter?
No, it's me. I had to do an update on my computer, and every time I do that, it erases everything.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm sure that Fred will message with you too if you message him on Facebook.
Well, what I was,
if you want to talk.
Oh, I don't have Facebook. I'm probably like Fred. I don't have all the social media stuff and everything.
Yeah. Well, Crystal was. Sorry.
What I've been thinking is, ever since Don did that video, he did it for Cher, and Cher wanted him to drive around and show the route that he took coming home.
Mm-hmm.
The first part of the video, it shows him coming down Beach Creek, and he passes Ben Hill on the left-hand side, and he goes down and he turns by the shed, and he drives past the shed, and then he goes down there by the creek, and that's when he's explaining that he sees the boys and the neighbor, which would be Blue Roof Dawn.
Yeah.
Then the video, I think he drives back up to the shed or something like that. The next part it shows of him driving is he's turning off of Horton Highway onto Chimney Top Loop. Now, Horton Highway runs parallel with Beach Creek. And the reason that I heard Fred talking the other day that the TP is not there anymore, but he said the TP was between Old Blair's Gap and Horton Highway. Well, if you pull out of Ben Hill Road, this is pavement road, turn right onto Beach Creek, then you make a right on Old Blair's Gap, and then you make a right onto Horton Highway, and then you make a right onto Chimney Top Loop, where Don went, which is directly across the mountain from Ben Hill Road. Now, people have told me, like I said, it's been 35 years since I've been down there in Beach Creek or Grassy Creek, and then in my early mid-20s, I run around down in House Holler, Caney Valley, Stanley Valley, East Carter's Valley, Burgoynesville, down in there. But somebody had told, if you go like if you turn off Horton Highway, Chimney Top goes around in a loop and it comes back to Horton Highway. But at the middle, if you go up another road, I can't remember the name of the road, It's the old fire tower road that goes up to the top of the mountain. And if you drop over on the other side, I'm betting that there's a trail there that goes down to probably either it probably goes to both, one to Ben Hill Road and then one to Light Hollow Road, the Sullivan County Light Hollow Road.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on down past Chimney Top Loop on Horton Highway, you can turn on a road called Pyburn Lane. That goes all the way up to the top of the mountain, stops, and then it on the other side of the mountain is the Light Road in Hawkins County, or the top end, the head end of Fields Road and Bell Road. Now, I've heard that those roads probably connect from each side of the mountain, that there's roads over there. You know, like four-wheeler roads, horse trails, you know, dirt bike trails or whatever. Because I know, and I talked to Andy Bernard about this, and I know there's a road that goes over the mountain from like the Reservoir Road side of Bays Mountain up over the top into Light Holler. Because I used to four-wheel on that. That used to be an old fire road, and my daddy told me about that because he used to work for Kingsport Power Company. And you had to have a four-wheel drive because they quit using it. But if you had a big four-wheel drive that was raised up, you could get over it. And then there's a place that's called the Doubles, just right down the road from Ben Hill, just like a mile or two. And you can go across the mountain on the other side from Beach Creek Road across the Big Doubles to Grassy Creek. So I know that there's roads, and I've talked to Frank Light's sister about this a bunch. And I know because way back then I four-wheeled on some of them. But like I said in that comment, I was into so much down there, and it was all drinking and hell raising and four-wheeling and chickens and
the chickens.
Lord knows all whatever, you know. Now the chickens was mainly down in Caney Valley, but anyway, no matter where you go, you know, if you've been into chickens, which I ain't been in mess with chickens in forever. I was into chickens a little bit when I lived in Limestone, which is down below Jonesboro. You got Jonesboro, then you got Telford, then you got Limestone, then you got Chucky, and then you got Greenville. And then north of that would be Hawkins County and all that. And then I had my first wife, actually, when she was my girlfriend, her mom lived down there in Christians Bend, which is over by the river that runs down through Hawkins County. Now, Fred will know all these places.
Yeah. He said there's only two trails. One comes out on Old Blair's Gap Road. The second one comes out on Broom Hollow Road. I don't know. He said it would take too long of a walk trail, or it said it would take too long. Walk trails have been unpassable for years. It's too hard to get away from across the mountain at Chimney Top. Across Chimney Top, it would take too long. The walk trails have been unpassable for years. And then he said there's only two trails. One comes out on Old Blair's Gap Road. The second one comes out on Broom Hollow Road. I don't know. I'm just reading what he's saying while you're...
Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm listening.
I don't know what any of this means. I'm trying to pull up the map and kind of see what's the number. What's Horton Highway? Is it is it like have a number with it? It's like you see 347. I'm trying to.
Horton Highway would be.
Well,
it's south of Beach Creek on the other side of the mountain. Let's see, it would be between Beach Creek and Geraldstown, or Beach Creek and between Beach Creek and Baileyton.
Okay. There's Old Blair's Gap right here. And there's Baileyton.
All right, right there is Horton Highway.
I just had Horton Highway, but now I'm like,
no, you went down to Baileyton Road. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, scroll back the other way.
Back this way?
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Yeah, right there. Baileyton Road and Horton Highway is the same thing.
Oh, okay. See
it there?
Yeah, okay. I just get so turned. Okay, and there's Solomon's Temple right here.
Exactly. Now, right to your left from Solomon's Temple.
Yeah.
That first road is Light Hollow Road. Not that one. The next to your left.
Right here. Okay, yeah.
That's Light Hollow Road. The next road is going to be Ben Hill Road.
Like this? What? I'm all turned around. I don't know if I'm turned.
Yeah, just like that. Just like that.
Oh, okay. Right here. Or beach. Wait, what's that? Is that Ben Hill right here? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I'm lost.
Or it might be on down a little bit more.
Maybe if I go just like this, 110.
Yeah, there you go. It might be the next road on down from that. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've been down there.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is, Ben Hill Road's right here. There's Beach Creek. Mm-hmm. So where's the road? Before I had all the road names and stuff. Now I can't. It's been a while since I viewed map style. Everything. Okay, I have it on everything. So why is it not showing me the roads and stuff?
Sometimes when they're little roads, you have to zoom in closer, and then when you zoom out, just kind of remember where you was. I was just wondering, like Fred was saying, I think Marlena said it was like 10 miles back in there. Fred said it was 6. What I was thinking though is, do we really know what time Summer went missing? No. So would somebody? What I've always thought about Don going over there is there's a way across there, or he's got somebody in mind that lives over there, or somebody snatched Summer on Ben Hill Road. Say Candace wasn't paying attention and they was just off playing and somebody had a crime of opportunity. Could they go back in there, like Fred was saying, at least 6 miles or at least 2 miles to hide long enough to get Summer out of there when the coast was clear, so to speak? Not necessarily that, Fred's saying it's overgrown and you can't get through there anymore. And I believe him. I don't have no reason not to. But could you hide back in there or get far enough back in there to where you could walk through to meet somebody on the other side that come up from the Horton Highway side and pass her off? I mean, I don't know. It just always struck me weird is why in the world would Dawn drive all the way around the other side of the mountain into another county for share? Why would he drive all the way around the mountain from Ben Hill to go to Chimney Top Loop on Horton Highway? Why wouldn't he drive down Light Hollow Road, or why wouldn't he drive down Simpson Loop or Simpson Road or Light Road or Old Blair's Gap? I mean, why, out of all the roads around there that I would pick, why did he drive all the way around the mountain to Chimney Top?
Yeah. There's got to be something with that, right?
There's well, I mean, it's just always bugged me, you know. And I didn't really get the chance to talk to Andy about it when I talked to him that first time.
Are you?
I mean, when I talked to Andy the first time was just I was trying to get what everybody was wanting to hear. What happened the day before Summer went missing? What happened the day of? And how was everybody acting after that, you know, on the 16th and the 17th? You know, was anybody acting odd or weird or, you know, whatever? And so I didn't really, you know, it wasn't really, I didn't even know that I was going to be even talking with Andy. They just sent me a link, a StreamYard link.
You guys still don't talk?
And I clicked on it, and there was Piper and Lean on Me and Andy. And I was like, well, heck, it's pretty cool. How you doing, man? So we sit there and talk for a little bit. I don't have no problem with Andy myself, just like I don't have no problem with Fred. The only here's my only thing, and don't get mad at me or get mad at me. It's not meant to make anybody mad.
No, I won't get mad.
I honestly do what?
I said, as long as it's not lies, like it won't make me mad. You know what I mean? Like as long as it's the truth, and I just get upset.
It's just my opinion of me watching things and watching different channels and listening to people, and I honestly, for the longest time, and I still leave it open, that Fred is mistaken about the day. Now, I don't think Fred's doing it out of malice or ill intent or meaning to put misinformation out there. Until he said that the pictures that he saw of Andy on the road was dated the 15th. And then that kind of perked my ear up. I was like, well, hell, if those pictures really exist, then Andy's boat sunk. And Fred is right. He's not mistaken about that day. And then when Evil Entered said, now I hadn't heard her say this.
Yeah, she just recently came out. Yeah.
I've heard it on the YouTube streets that when Evil Entered had seen those pictures of Andy on the road on the 15th. And I was like, well, now we got two people saying the same thing, When Evil Entered and Fred.
Yeah.
So now again, I think, well, hell, maybe Fred ain't mistaken. And it's not that I ever, like I said, you know, don't get me wrong or anything twisted around. I never thought that Fred was doing it out of meanness or anything like that, or trying to lie or trying to get away with something or try to pass the blame off on Andy. I never thought nothing like that. And from Andy's side, if Andy is telling the truth and he was on camera, then he's in the clear.
See, well, we need to know
and I don't think, like Andy was saying the other day when he was on your panel, towards Fred, he wasn't trying to say that anything that Fred had anything to do with Summer.
Mm-hmm.
To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think Fred or Andy had anything to do with Summer missing. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
Unless and until I see those pictures that show Andy on the road on the 15th. If that's the truth,
just going by with what you have. I understand people's point of views and stuff like that. You can't go by what somebody says. Like, you have to see proof. I get it. I understand. That's the same predicament I'm in. I want to see. I believe Fred, of course. I really do. I mean, just because it's all everything, but I'm the one that's been talking to him. I know that nobody doesn't have. I have that different perspective, and I just have to keep in mind, like, not you guys. People are just going by what we've been told, and I know it's hard to. I wish we could know or see these pictures or the surveillance. I really do.
I mean, here's kind of the way I look at it. Now, I may be totally wrong because I know investigations, take a long time and they got to piece things together. I know all that. But Fred or Andy, neither one's behind bars for anything to do with the 15th.
Yeah.
Now, Fred went to jail, but Fred went to jail for something completely unrelated to Summer.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with him being involved. If it did, he'd still be in there as far as I'm concerned. They would have never let him out and give him the opportunity to go to rehab and so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's all a mind F for sure. It really does. It's really freaking a mind F. Like, I'm constantly like, I don't understand. Andy comes off like a decent person, you know what I mean? But like, it's it's hard for me to believe him because of,
I think they would all fib a little bit to save their own hind end. I'll tell you that right now. And that includes everybody.
But see, I haven't seen.
Juan and Candace and Grandis and Fred and Andy and Jody Sue and Jose and Dudley.
We haven't caught Fred in straight lies. Like, unless anybody can tell me specifically or point out. Like, I just haven't had that moment. Like, I have, like with everybody else, there's always something that does not line up. Like, like with what they say, there's always something. That contradicts, I just,
and that's with all of them. And like I said, I don't necessarily.
What with Fred? What has came out that showed that he lied? Like, there's nothing. Absolutely.
Right. Well, I mean, besides, I think that it's possible that he got the days mixed up because there was a lot of activity on the 14th because of Jackie Dobbs. So I'm sure that it didn't have nothing to do with Fred because it wasn't Fred's land. It was Andy's kinfolk's land. So I'm sure Fred was probably down there at his house doing his thing. And Andy probably was going back there to see his uncle or whatever.
He's had conversations with law enforcement, though, about this same. So it's impossible that Fred got. It's impossible that Fred got the wrong day because he's talked to law enforcement about it. You see what I'm saying? So either Fred's lying or Andy's lying. It's one or the other.
Well, I agree. And that's what I said, I think
so I
thought Fred was possibly could have had the day wrong. until he said he had pictures that show that Andy on the road. And then I thought Andy was telling the truth because his boss said that he was at work and TBI said he was on camera all day. So where do you go with that? And then when Evil Leonard pops up and says she's seen them pictures with Andy on the road too, and then you got to kind of go, well, if that's ever shown, you know, and as important as that would be, people would want metadata and everything from it, you know.
Yeah.
Because you know how YouTube is. People could,
oh yeah,
you know, Photoshop it and make it look however they wanted it to look, just because they don't like Fred or just because they don't like Andy or, you know, however they wanted to do
from
it.
a reliable source. You have to take all of that into context. You really do. Thankfully, you think like that, but because not everybody does, as we see, and a lot of people don't think things through and don't question stuff. And yeah, it's important to question everything, where it comes from, the context of the situation, you know, everything. So,
and everybody perceives things, you know, what they hear in a different way than somebody else might, you know.
He just messaged me and said, I am for sure.
He just messaged me and said that he was for sure
about Andy being on the road that day.
Well, I mean, it's like I said in your chat that
we're
night.
The same spot.
Do what now?
I said we're back at the same spot, just like the conversation with Andy and Fred. It really just, you know, I knew it was going to go that way.
It's like I said on in the chat that night. They're going to die on their hill. You know, Fred is dead set. They ain't no changing his mind, and Andy's dead set. They ain't no changing his mind. You know, so you're back to, you know, well, it comes down to them pictures.
Yeah.
Comes
and
down
now there is people who have there is other people. There is people on Ben Hill who have this surveillance, and that's evil. And now I don't. But see, I understand the predicament of being in that position. Like if Fred were to somehow find these SD cards, that they would magically end up in his lap, or, you know, whatever. If it got to me, that would be a rough position to be in. Like, and I know that there are people on Ben Hill who have this have footage, and that's how Evil Entered saw it. It wasn't from Fred. So
right, that's what I heard, that she saw it from somebody besides Fred.
Yeah,
now, I've never heard it mentioned who she's seen it from or whatever, but and you know, that doesn't really matter because if those really exist, then I would consider that, and the police probably do too, a pretty big piece of evidence, you know, if somebody's.
And then we get back to, well, why, if that's true, if they have proof of Andy being on that road, then why, well, he would be arrested. You know, that's what a lot of people's thinking is. And you would think so. I mean, I would think so too, but I don't know. And Andy says he hasn't even been spoke to since like the beginning of the investigation, you know? So it's just crazy. And are they doing anything? Are these investigators actually, or are they just waiting for some little piece of info? Like, or do they know something but yet just don't have absolute proof, or what? I don't know. I just don't understand why some of these people haven't been questioned more, you know, and.
Well, Sage Sleuth just has a good point right there. It says can't arrest someone for just being on a road.
Exactly, and that's the thing too.
That's true. You know, if they can be all the pictures in the world of Andy being on the road, and then all that does is just make Andy a liar. It doesn't make him guilty of doing anything to Summer unless there's a picture of him with Summer in his arms or something. And if that existed, then he would be in the jailhouse right now, rotting away.
See, that's it. See, that's good for context to remember. Just like what you just said, just because he's on the road, like, does not mean he would be guilty. But see, he's saying he was not on the road, so that's like, yeah, that's like the one thing that really I would, if I could know anything, I don't know. Well, of course, I probably want to know, like, I'd probably ask something different, but that's one thing I would rule. That's one of the top things I want to know, because like you said, they both seem to believe what they're saying, and, but I have to admit, now this is just my, of course, Andy's behavior's just been more weird, in my opinion, but I don't know how I would react if I was in this situation. I've never been in that situation, so I don't know. I know Jody Sue sure acts sus AF. Like, I don't know how else to explain that.
I will agree with you on that. My view on that still ain't changed.
What do you think? You think it's just an attention thing with her? Not to put you on the spot. I just don't.
I don't even know what's up with that one.
It's crazy to me that there's so many people that seem to just like surrounding this case that have no problem just going out, and because there has to be, people there. There is. We know people are purposely lying. We don't know we may not know exactly who on some things, but not everything could be the truth.
Yeah.
And why would somebody want to do that?
You're exactly right. And that's why I say again, not putting anything, anything necessarily harsh on because they all have. So, even if one of them hasn't, how do you know? Because all the other ones have. You know what I mean? Let's say Fred's pure as a driven snow, but we got everybody else around Fred that has light. Let's say Candace is as pure as the driven snow. Same case, that would make everybody else around her a liar. Let's say let's say Jody Sue is pure as a driven snow. Then that would make everybody else around her a liar. Because ain't none of them had the same story about nothing. And that's not throwing any shade necessarily on any one particular person, but everybody in this community knows that to be true.
Well, Fred, though, is kind of the outsider of this group. He's not in with all those people like they are.
And I would believe that, honestly, just from hearing him talk, and just the way that other people talk about him. I would agree that I could see Fred down there doing his thing, whatever his thing happened to comprise of, whether it be.
It does include. He's admitted. He was into drug activity.
Right.
He was not manufacturing. He was selling. He's never even made.
I could see him down there scrapping cars and hauling cars off and working on cars for people and, doing his extracurricular activities and just pretty much keeping to himself. He seems to me like somebody that would keep a pretty tight circle around him. and because of some of the stuff that he was doing,
Yeah, I mean, his friends are his friends since high school. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of them, yeah, all of them are like, a lot of them are, unfortunately, in that scene or whatever. I mean, it's kind of a freaking, gosh, that area seems to just suck you in.
Well, it's like some of them places that I named off. One of them in particular, I don't know if this place was even called this back when. Because Fred, how old is Fred?
47.
Oh, okay. He's a little older than what I thought. I'm 53, so there's just 6 years difference. But they used to be a place down on East Carter's Alley they called the Dog Pound. It's a trailer park down there. And you could imagine why they called it the Dog Pound. It was packed plumb full of rabid people.
God.
Most of them people ain't even around no more. And the main people that and I'm not going to name the family name that was down in Caney Valley, because all them people are dead and passed away now. And they ain't much older than me. Some of them was younger than me. Matter of fact, they're kids. And their cousins and stuff. And I'm not going to mention their name because people crazy like Crystal over there was digging in and accusing them of.
Fred said you don't look like. I'm going to send you these messages. She's mad that. Oh, Crystal, she sent Fred a picture of some guy, and Crystal is trying to say it looks like you, and you guys do look similar or whatever. But Fred told her when she sent that guy's picture and then your picture, she asked Fred if he thought that those two people looked alike. He goes, they look alike, but they're not the same person, is what Fred said, or something like that. And I think she kind of was upset that she was kind of upset that he didn't agree with her about you looking like this dude that I guess she called Skeletor or Skeleton. I thought she was talking about Cher when she was saying that. No offense, because I know people call her that. I don't, but I know some people have, and so I thought I didn't have. It was somebody named Skeletor or Skeleton or something.
Skeleton, Skelton. She's been accusing me of being that guy for ever. Some of the vilest stuff, because that guy is an RSO. And she's accused me of everything, insinuated in every way possible that I've taken Summer and I'm that guy and I'm an RSO, and because
she's having a heyday with what Fred wanted.
I don't pay no attention to her. She's dumber than hell.
Well, because Fred had no idea what she was up to or anything, and he was just answering her questions. And she at first, she was just asking him. She sent a picture of that guy, that skeleton guy or whatever his name is, and then asked if he had ever seen him anywhere before. And Fred goes, "Yeah, I think I've seen him actually camped out. I thought he was one that used to camp out on Dawn's property, and so then, oh God, her ears perked up then, and then sent a picture of you, so yeah, that really got her going. So now you're probably, so now she's probably thinking you're camped out on the Wells property."
Well, like I said, the last time Fred would have been, to put it in perspective, let's see, there's 6 years difference between us. Fred would have been 12 the last time I was in Beach Creek.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. Like 1987, 1988.
You guys do look alike, like a lot of, you guys could pass for brothers. It's not a bad thing. The guy's not a bad looking guy or anything, but he is, nobody wants to be I didn't know he was RSO though. freaking gross, and nobody wants to be associated with that. You know what I mean? And I just hate when people throw that around so much about that's a big thing. Like when you get labeled an RSO or whatever, that's with you for life. Like you have to be sure. So yeah. I wish she wouldn't go around saying things like that about you unless she was absolutely freaking for positive.
Well, you know how YouTube is. You can't do nothing with somebody like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, people, and then when you don't go back and forth with them, they think that you're, oh, no, it's just, it doesn't do any good, you guys. It really just doesn't. I shouldn't even say anything about her post or anything because I know she loves it. That's the type of stuff that she feeds off of. But it was just so crazy, like her blatantly just putting lies up on her. It was completely untrue. These people.
Now I did want to ask now that since Fred is there, just out of curiosity's sake, I didn't get a chance. Well, it's so hard because I type slow as could be anyway. But I was talking to Andy in a chat one time, and he said that there was 2 sets of hills down there. Now, I'm kin to some hills. Is Fred and his clan, are they kin to anybody on Pactolus?
What's it called?
Pactolus.
Pactolus. Is that into a city or something? He'll probably respond,
Yeah, he'll respond probably.
He said yes, he is.
All right. Well, we may be somehow distantly related through marriage some way or another then, Fred.
You and Scott H are cousins. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's going to cause all kinds of crazy new conspiracy.
Chris will have a blast.
Wait, hold on. What's he saying? No. Now he's saying no. They are, and then no. Okay, now I'm confused. If he's.
Oh, he probably said they are, meaning there's 2 sets of hills down there, and then no, he's not kin to the ones on Pactolus.
Yeah. Fred, are you kin to them? Oh, yes or no. Circle yes or no. Are you kin to the Pacatola people? Gosh, that must be an Indian name thing. I don't know. Now he won't respond. Yes or no? Is the thumbs up mean yes? Are you kin to them? No. Okay. He says no.
No. Okay.
And I can't believe I'm saying kin either. That's not one of my words. That's not in my vocabulary. Kin.
Oh.
That's funny. When I lived in Oklahoma there for a year. I remember like people saying kin and stuff. It was just so funny. That was the first time I ever seen an outhouse or anything too. Like, oh my gosh, it kind of reminds me of these people. The way some of these people live out here. Hunted coyotes is okay.
Well, that was I didn't mean to take over your show or anything, but thank you though, because that's always been just something in my head that did Don know somebody over there on Chimney Top, and he was trying to send them, or Chimney Top Loop, and he was trying to send them a message that, hey, I'm thinking you might have got my daughter, or did he know about them roads that went over across the top of the mountain, or if them roads was still even passable over top, and if Fred says they're not, then I ain't got no reason to doubt him. I damn sure ain't going to go down there and check. I ain't got no reason to, but.
I mean, we could ask, like, several people and see.
And I didn't even know if Fred would even know if they would know if they still were passable up through there or not.
He seems to think that it's just it would take a long time, he said, because the walk trails have been impassable for years.
Okay.
He said it'd be too hard to get away across the mountain, is what he's saying. Yeah, I would just ask a few people. If people are saying pretty much the same thing, then it's probably the truth. I mean, Fred he knows that area pretty well. I mean, because he has, like, lived there most of his life. Like,
yeah.
And it's kind of sad about, hopefully that they get to keep 207 and stuff, because it's kind of sad, that there won't be any more hills on Ben Hill Road. But
well, I honestly do, and I do feel bad that he's losing that down there, because it is, to see my family never had, lots of land when I was growing up. I mean, my grandma comes from Belgium, and they had a farm, and then my granddaddy was, they had huge family. He had there was 12 kids, and his daddy died when he was in the 3rd grade, so he had to drop out of school and work on the farm. And then he ended up going to World War II. But, since then, and then my other grandparents on my daddy's side, they was just, land poor. You couldn't even say they was poor as dirt. They didn't have no dirt except where they could find a little house or whatever, so we never had, like lots of land or anything like that. But I've seen people go through that, and that's, I hate to see it for Fred, regardless of who Fred is, unless he took Summer, and then I'm glad. But
yeah,
besides that, I mean, I hate to see anybody lose their.
Kind of, in a way, it kind of is like, breaking a generational curse. That freaking road's like a freaking curse. So maybe it's a good thing.
I mean, I could tell, like, and say what you will about Andy, I think it was genuine, when Andy talks about that land down there, his grandma's or whatever. I mean, he gets choked up about it. You can tell there's a lot of, memories there, and I'm sure Fred's got a lot of memories of his.
Yeah, they're related. I mean, at least I mean, there is, the Bernards still have property out there, and that's, I guess,
right.
That's related to Fred, but it's just sad about there not being any actual hills on the road anymore. But yeah, he's, Andy's just as much as Fred is tied to that land, and so.
Man, it's just hard, it's just hard, but he's in a good spot right now. I hope, Fred, if you're still listening, man, you can get clean and sober and stay that way forever. You ain't never got to do that shit again. Yeah. So you're doing good. Just stay on that path, and don't worry about being Hill, or hell, don't worry about Hawkins County.
Yeah, hopefully I mean, that's probably a good thing. This is probably like the universe forcing him to have to get away from that area. Like, holy crap, it's so depressing out there. I mean, it's just, some people, they like it, it is. It's just, there's a lot of bad memories to that area for him. And I think that it's probably just best to close that whole chapter. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I think that's how he feels. But I mean, I'm not him. I mean, to him, I think he's a little bit sad about it, but it's just the 207. I mean, right now, that one, his sister's an executor of. I think it's clear title, according to Fred. So I don't know. He did say to, like that screenshot you showed me on that Zillow ad or whatever, about how it said something about an auction or whatever. Now, his mom did purchase that at auction. So kind of wonder if that meant with when his mom purchased it or something.
It could just be, that outdated. That was just the only thing that came up when I was looking at 160, because I looked at 165, 167, and then 207, and that was the only one that said anything. Yeah. You kept saying it was 165 that was getting auctioned off, but that was saying that it was 207.
Yeah.
I was like, well, hell, Fred knows where he lives at, he's not going to get it mixed up. So Ziggy's probably saying the right thing, but, I couldn't find nothing, on it by.
Yeah, you never know with Hawkins County.
Well, this is very true too.
But now the price, that was another thing too that matched the price. Something about 11,000 or something that was listed on it. Fred said something about that's how much she paid for it. I think it was 11,000. I don't know. I didn't see. Fred mentioned something about 11. I didn't see. I can't remember there being a price or anything on it, but I'm not very observant. I just remember Fred saying something about her purchasing it for like an auction for like 11,000 or something. I don't know how long ago it was, but
I didn't dig that.
People don't understand the reason why, guys. Like, a fun fact is because his parents were actually divorced for 14 years. So they actually were.
It said something about in the last purchase was one of them was his daddy, and then the other one was his mama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I mean, I didn't know if they were divorced.
She tried to kill
them. If they were divorced or if they just did it, so each of them would have, land in each other's name or, whatever.
It's true, like what people say. Fred's mom was a little bit crazy. She tried to poison his dad and stuff, and that's why they got divorced. That's a whole other thing. So yeah, there's that.
I'd probably divorced her too. I'd probably done more than that to her.
Yeah, I haven't really talked about it much because I don't want to get into his family stuff. It's a sensitive topic or whatever, but he seemed to, they're both gone, have passed now. So,
right.
They both passed since Summer's have gone missing. So, his dad passed, I think 6 months after or something. And then his mom just passed in March of last year, I think. Right around the time Cotton, I think, or something. Yeah, she just passed. So, and I thought that his parents were together. I didn't know that they had been divorced for 14 years. And I'm just learning. Fred's not the type to talk bad about his family or really, really talk bad about anybody. So I'm just learning this stuff about his family, really, that I didn't know before. But yeah.
There was one time, there was a place, well, it's called Roan Mountain. Fred will know where it is. It's in a different county. It's in Carter County. It borders Tennessee and North Carolina on that side. And we used to run around up there, and one of them guys up there, man, he was a bad dude. Well, he's in the penitentiary right now. He was rough guy. He was kind of like, well, Fred's situation, from the way I understand, when he shot Roy down there, was way different. This guy that I'm talking about, he come out of his house and pulled his pistol and stuck it right in the guy's face and shot, just straight out murder. But my buddy, he got hooked into him. I never run around with him up there much, but my buddy did, and he come home and he got sicker than hell. And I was like, dang, what is the matter with you? And not like throwing up. Well, he was throwing up, had fever, had everything. And he said the only thing that he had ate was he had a bag of nuts. They had been holing black walnuts or pecans. I can't remember what they did. Hell, we was damn sure that he was poisoned. So we ran up to Johnson City, up to the damn pet store, and bought a couple of mice and put them in a box and fed them them damn nuts to see if they would die, to see if he'd been poisoned. Arsenic or something. Yeah. I mean, my buddy, he was like bad off, and that was one of them deals you wouldn't put it past that guy to poison you.
Yeah.
In a more
sneaky way. Did the mice die?
No, they live.
Gotta know. No, but she poisoned it. She was not a good person. She's a scary lady.
That's why I didn't like running around with that guy, because he was up on a 11W in Kingsport, up on the upper end, up like you're headed towards Bristol, and he got busted for a bunch of dope. And but he had to do stuff like super sneaky. He had like his mom's house booby trapped and all kinds of shit, because he went to the penitentiary when he shot that dude in the face. When he got out of the penitentiary, he still did rotten stuff, but he had to do stuff like in sneaky. So instead of coming right out and shooting my buddy or shooting anybody else, he'd do sneaky stuff like that. Cut brake lines just halfway through, so you could drive around 2 or 3 days and then it'd finally blow out. You'd crash your car, run off the side of the mountain, or poison you or something. He'd do just rotten stuff. You never knew where he was coming from.
I'm laughing, but gosh, it's great. That's insane. That's crazy that there's people out there in this world like that. You know what I mean? That just I guess, but we can see it on a much smaller scale here on YouTube, like the craziness and stuff like people do to try to mess with people's lives, like calling agencies and stuff like that. We see it on a much smaller scale. God, there's a lot of freaking crazy in this world. It's scary.
This again, this was probably, oh Lord, 25 years ago, I'd say. So, I mean, he may even be dead by now, It's just, that type of people,
yeah.
I mean, they end up.
He probably is he also into insurance scams and that crazy stuff?
No, he ran a leather shop up in Elizabethton. Lord, I'll get myself killed if somebody's listening to this right now.
Oh God, don't do. Oh no.
But he run that as, from what I could gather, I have no proof of this, but what I always imagined was that was the front to launder the drug money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of what I always figured, because none of them guys was poor. I mean, they all had, nice Harleys and shit like that. And I'll tell you, one of the places which you've heard me talk about moonshining and stuff like that. That's one of the times that my buddy I was telling you about that we had to go by the mice store. He come by my house one night and he was making a run, and he had 75 gallons of moonshine in a Pontiac Grand Am. That's I've got to say that's the most moonshine that I've ever seen in one time, in one capacity.
What's so funny, I just asked Fred for permission to tell this story, but when they went out there to Ben Hill to grab some of his stuff, like, there was some moonshine out there.
There was some, I don't know.
Yeah, there was some moonshine that it was disposed of. It was disposed of. But anyways, it's crazy because law enforcement had been over that property, you know, more than once, you know, so.
Hopefully it got disposed of down somebody's gullet.
No comment. Not Fred. All that matters. Not Fred.
I still twitch when I can hear the damn lid spin off of the mason jar, a quart of apple butter in a mason jar, and my damn right arm will still twitch when I hear that sound.
Yeah, I'm just saying it was disposed of. I'm not gonna but it's just so it's definitely not there anymore. What is it? The whole still. Oh, he said the whole still was whatever that means. I don't understand. He said the whole still was there. I don't know what that means.
Still's what you cook the first. What you do is you take your corn and your sugar and your yeast and a bunch of water, and mix that together, and that's called your mash. After it ferments, the yeast feeds on the sugar. The byproduct of that is methanol, alcohol. Then when it gets done fermenting, you cook it off in a still. The beauty of it is alcohol boils before water does. So when you're heating it up, the alcohol that's in the mash will start steaming before the water that's left over in there. So they call it a still because it's short for distillation. What you're doing is you're distilling the alcohol from the water.
Okay.
So when the steam comes up, when you first start running it, when it starts going through the rest of the still and comes out at the end at the worm. Now there's components in between that, but your purest alcohol will come out first because that's the highest concentration of the steam in there. Okay. The longer you run it, the weaker and weaker the alcohol gets because it's already been distilled through. So each jar of liquor that you get out of your still gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And then what they'll do is they'll proof it. They'll mix all the jars together, the weakest with the strongest, and come out with whatever proof that they're hunting for. Or sometimes they'll cut it down and add water to it if they're wanting to stretch it out, you know, trying to be greedy and make more money, but you're not getting as good a liquor, and you probably won't keep customers long because everybody that's ever drunk moonshine knows what a couple of swallowers of moonshine should do to you. If it don't do that, then most of the time you can taste it because the strength of it, you know, make your head shake, you know, when you swallow it.
Yeah.
That real hot stuff will chap your lips as it's going down, you know.
Yeah.
But that's cool. If there's an old still up there, man, I'd at least try to get that to, well, probably not with his history now. He'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
They'd lock him
It
up.
was, yeah, so it's just funny. Like it was just funny to hear that was up there, after law enforcement has already combed the property. It's just crazy.
Right.
I don't know. I hope law enforcement is just are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know. Fred doesn't drink, but I guess but he would make it. I suppose. I guess that's why it was there. I'm assuming.
I couldn't even tell you what a quart of moonshine would go for now. I know they used to make the apple pie moonshine, and that was $20 a quart. But see, I always got my clear liquor. That my buddy, like I said, when he come by with them 75 gallons, he'd just give me a gallon. But that was just straight corn liquor, clear, clear moonshine, white lightning, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't flavored or nothing like that. But I used to buy a gallon of white liquor for $20, and I think quarts was $8. But like I said, that was years ago. I've been sober going almost 9 years. July will be 9 years now. So
$50.
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you where to go get it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that would even mean. $50 a quart. Does that sound right? I don't know. Why would people want? See, I think I've had moonshine before. Like I've been told, but I don't know. It's been freaking years. Who knows if it's actually moonshine? But like, yeah, I don't understand. Why do people want moonshine over like regular alcohol?
Well, at the time, at one point in time, it was cheaper. You could make liquor a lot cheaper than what you could buy it, because they call what you buy in the liquor store is, back then they called it bonded liquor. And what they was talking about was that, have you ever seen the liquor bottle that's got the paper that goes over the top of the lid?
Yeah.
That was the bond on it. That was the tax stamp. And people didn't want to give Uncle Sam their tax money because they could make liquor cheaper. It was cheaper to go buy sugar and corn than it was to, give the government, extra money for bonded liquor. Now, I think for most of the country anyways, it's more for just nostalgia reasons,
Yeah.
Because now it's legal to make moonshine.
Right.
They got distilleries
everywhere. Thank you so much, Nina. Thank you so much. She sent some money to help with getting Fred a bus pass, and that is, thank you so much, because that's very very needed. Seriously. Now I just need it. I know that it can be bought online. I just need to get him to figure out. Anyways, I'll figure that out for sure. Thank you so much. And he is very appreciative. He's listening. He said 200 a gallon now. $200 a gallon. I guess it goes for. Thank you so much, Nina. By the way, seriously.
Yeah, I think now it's just more for like nostalgia reasons and stuff like that. Because they're, a lot of people, that art of making moonshine and, operating a still back in the mountains, far away from everybody. And it's so hard to be able to find, places to do that, and people that have the know-how on how how to do it, how to make the still, how to cook it, when to cook it.
Fred said, I don't know if you know who this guy is, but Fred said, because he was telling me about him the other day, but he just messaged me and said, my moonshine was Popcorn Sutton approved. Do you know who Popcorn Sutton is?
Absolutely. Popcorn Sutton was out of Newport, out of Cott County, where Honest Angels lived.
Yeah. Yeah, he's telling me something about that dude. I don't know who he is, but really, I guess he's a famous moonshiner or something.
He is definitely a world famous, world renowned moonshiner for sure, without a question.
I don't know.
They made a documentary on it. It's called "The Last Damn Run of Liquor I'll Ever Make." He ended up he committed suicide because the last time they busted him, they wouldn't let him smoke in jail. That's when they outlawed cigarette smoking. That's the old tale that goes along with it. And he hooked a pipe up to his exhaust pipe and put it over in his mouth and committed suicide because he didn't feel like that it was wrong to make liquor when you could go buy everything that you needed. It's like a lot of people, even though pot's illegal, they're like, it shouldn't be illegal because you take a seed and plant it in the ground and it grows. Why should it be illegal? And it was the same thing with liquor. You can buy alcohol in any gas station or grocery store or whatever, so why not be able to make your own? Now,
he was facing prison? Is that what you're saying? Was he facing prison? Is that why he killed himself?
Yeah, he wasn't going to go back to prison. So he killed himself. He got busted the last time, and for making moonshine, he got busted a couple of times, and then he went like a super, super long stretch, like years, I believe it was. And then he got caught again, and that time they really laid the hammer down on him. And he said, nope, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And he was a little old tiny scrawny old thing. And I seen Rhiannon asking, does he have any living relatives? I imagine his wife's still alive. And boy, he was a little scrawny thing. He probably didn't weigh 100 pounds. He liked his women big.
He liked his what?
His women big. Like he liked them.
Big.
500 pounders.
Yeah. Fred said that I guess he made moonshine with for a while, but he said something about him being out of North Carolina. I don't know what that means. He said he's out of North Carolina, or that Popcorn Sutton was out of North Carolina or something.
I'd have to go back and look it up to see where he was actually from, but I know he was in Newport for a while in Cott County. But there was a lot of moonshiners did come out of North Carolina, Western North Carolina. Did you ever? I just think this is a kick. I mean, it's no big deal really, but I get a kick out of it. There was a show on is it Discovery Channel or something like that called Moonshiners.
Yeah.
And I got my picture took with Tim Smith. He's went legal now, but he was the main character that they made that show over. And when he very first went legal, he did meet and greets, and he came to one of the liquor stores out here where I live, and I just happened to be on my lunch break at work, and I seen it was on their marquee sign out front of the liquor store. So I pulled in there and bought a bottle, and some dude just walked up and had a camera in his hand. It was Tim's, I guess his buddy or whatever. He's like, here, take a picture of it. We'll get Tim to autograph this for you. I was like, all right then. So I thought that was pretty cool.
He said that Tim and Duggar are from Newport. I guess that's what Fred said. He just messaged me. I don't know. I guess it's the guy you're talking about, Tim and Duggar.
Yeah.
Are from Newport. Newport is west of Knoxville, says Hey Jude. Newport isn't far from North Carolina line. He was a scrawny little old man. Gosh, you guys, the way you guys describe him, it reminds me of Haskell. Haskell is so tiny. Did he have long hair too? Was he an alcoholic? I mean, or did he just like to make it? Or
I don't really know. I'm not going to ever brand nobody with that name.
But would he drink?
Yeah, he would drink, but he lived up to a ripe old age. Well, I mean, he wasn't old, but for that kind of lifestyle, it was old, I guess.
Yeah.
But he was a trip. Johnny Knoxville is the one that did that. He did a couple of documentaries after, or right before Popcorn died. He went down and did a couple of TV shows on him.
Man. Okay. Fred seems to think he was an alcoholic.
He probably was, but like I said, I don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I know how it is in AA. You're supposed to label yourself. You can't label anybody else alcoholic. It's the individual's choice. Nana's Angels was from Newport, Tennessee. Yeah, that was crazy. That Nana passing away. That was sad. Distilling was Appalachian, Irish, Scottish. Yeah. What's another thing? Yeah, they're all out. They also are all into. Are you into that? What is it that Fred's? Is it ginseng? Yeah, ginseng.
No, I never did get into hunting, saying what they call it, but my son's mom, my second ex-wife, her brothers did. They were from Southwest Virginia, and they knew some spots up there to go ginseng hunting, but I never went with them. And my ex-father-in-law, he's the one that he passed away. Now he worked in the coal mines up there. He died of black lung.
Wow. Let's see, Mina, he doesn't have a wish list right now, but the main things he's really needing is there's his Cash App, but the main thing he's needing is essential stuff. Like I was saying earlier, if there's anybody who wants to help with like cleaning supplies and stuff like that for his place, that's for the main stuff, and food. Like he's responsible for the paper towels. I don't know. It changes daily there. Good money and ginseng. Yeah. That's what Fred was saying. That Brandon JLR was into ginseng, in my opinion, probably several other things too. Yeah. That's why I was wondering. It's like, I guess it's it is good money.
I think, well, like I said, I'm not going to say. I know people hunt it and they're like real territorial over it. If they find a spot where it's growing, they're real territorial, especially, if it's growing on their land or some of their kinfolk's land, and they catch somebody else coming on their land to hunt it, you can get disappear that way.
Yeah, it seemed I can see that. I can see that. I'm starting to learn that. That seems like how it would be out there too in Beach Creek area.
I think best I can remember talking to them, of course, again, this has been years ago too. We've been divorced, and they didn't live around here. We lived in Tennessee here, and then her people was over in Southwest Virginia. But the one brother that done the most hunting, he lived in North Carolina. So about the only he was one of the people that his family is the ones that you see at Thanksgiving and Christmas is the only time you ever see them.
Yeah.
It was kind of like one of them kind of deals, but it seemed to me like he said that you had to the root's what you get, and it seemed like you had to dry it out, and they pay you by I don't know if they pay you by the gram or the ounce or the pound. I guess it depends on how much you got. But when you dry
rings or something around them, tell how old it is and something. I was like, what the hell? That sounds complicated.
But when you dry stuff out, it gets lighter because all the water weight comes out of it.
Yeah.
And so from what I can gather, like I said, I've never hunted it or dried it out or sold it or nothing. So I don't know, but from what I gathered, it took a lot. You had to have a really good patch because it might seem like a whole lot when you gathered it, but once it dried out, it didn't weigh near as much as what it did when you picked it, because all the water had dried out of it. And then that's another reason why people was so particular about it was, because every little bit meant something, because they knew that, it wasn't going to weigh nearly as much once it dried out, and it was time to sell it. But like I said, I don't have no experience doing that. So
yeah,
I might would know.
That's a good.
I don't even know if I know what it looked like if I seen it out in the woods, to be honest with you.
Me either. Like I don't know, but I'm learning about it though. Well, Deb says, I have a question. Why did in early days of Summer's case, why was it reported that she was seen walking away from home? Who was the person who's seen her in the early afternoon hours? I don't know. That's a mystery. I don't know what Fred said. I've dries 3-1. I don't know what that means. 3-1.
Whatever weight, if you got 3 pounds, it'll be 1 pound.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, it's big money, but I can see people getting killed. That does sound dangerous. Now that I think about it, like if it's that big of money and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I can see people getting killed over it. Your daddy
was saying, just a second ago, somebody was saying that they sold theirs in Pennington Gap, Virginia. That's where her people was kind of from. She had an uncle that lived up in Pennington Gap, and then down at the bottom of the mountain, before you go over the gap, She had people in Duffield, Coburn, Rye Cove, Gate City, Weber City, all that part of that corner of Virginia that comes down here that all meets up with northeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, and southeastern Kentucky. This whole kind of little area here. That might have been where they went and sold theirs. Like I said, I don't know.
They said walking away because the last time Candace claimed she's seen Summer walking from outside to the inside of her home. They said walking away because the last time Candace claimed she's seen Summer walking from outside to the... I don't know. I don't know why else it said them. I don't know why it was reported that the mother went for a walk. It's a few weird. Ginseng is used in a lot of medicine. Yep. And also I know people, like, I used to have an ex, like, that used to chew ginseng. I don't know. So I guess it's a thing. I guess it gives you some kind of energy.
Yeah, they claim it's got all kinds of benefits to it. I know Chinese people, I think they use it a whole lot for a lot of their medicines and stuff like that. They make like all kinds of, like on the vitamin aisle, supplement aisle, I guess is better word for it. You can see it.
It's very good for you.
Of course, you don't have it up there unless you drink one down here. Dr. Enos, that's kind of like a Tennessee thing. They made a red one, cherry flavored. It's a drink, and they claimed it had ginseng in it.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, Hey Jude says in China it's considered an aphrodisiac. I have heard that before.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fred just said sexual stimulant. It's a federal offense to travel across state lines with it, I guess, too. Yeah, they're really strict about it. It's a big, huge money thing when ginseng. Yep. But that's not why my ex used to chew it. It wasn't a sexual. I know that's not. I thought from what. I didn't know that, but that's not why he chewed it, because he told me it was supposed to give you energy or something. I don't know. Maybe.
That's funny thinking about that.
What? What's the Blue Devils mean?
Sharon Shelton said she's a Gate City gal, and that's the high school there. In Gate City, my high school crush was Gate City Blue Devil. That's my problem. You got to be careful with them Southwest Virginia girls. They'll get you in trouble every time, or they've got me in trouble every time. Both my wives come from there, and I guess they're back there. I don't know what they're doing now. They get you in a mess.
I'm laughing because Fred said he lied to you about the sexual, like, or about why he was chewing the ginseng. And then also, I knew he was probably going to say something. He probably would have. I think I think Laura's from that area, actually. I think. Oh my God.
Yeah, run.
I am not going to say what he just said about that. Might offend some people about whatever area you just said, Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
About the women there. What Fred just said.
It's just like anywhere down here. There's some good people up there. There's some humdingers too, though.
Yeah. Does Fred read chat? I don't know if he does. He just responds.
I do when I quit talking. I try to, unless I'm listening. I can't. I can just do
one
thing.
No, I mean, somebody was asking if Fred read chat. I don't think he does, really. But I try to read out the comments that when you guys are asking him stuff, so that I try to read them so that he hears. Tell you, he said that he said they're all hoes.
Well, Fred, I can say at least 2 of them was.
Oh my God.
That's why they're exes.
That's why I didn't want to repeat, because I knew I'm gonna get. I know people are gonna be offended. Some people are just like snowflakes, and they get freaking offended so easily. Oh, I'm from Southwest Virginia, and I'm not a hoe. Oh, man. Is that where... No. That's not true, Cheryl.
I tell you...
That's not the right white... She's not from that white family. That is a misconception. That's not true. But anyway, sorry.
Now, well, you gotta watch out for... I want to tell a story, but I don't want to name places or businesses because we got crazy people on the internet, and they don't need to be hassled. But a really, really good friend of mine that, like, I've known we grew up together, like, literally since we were, I don't know, like 10 years old, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a line of business to where he actually did get to meet Jesco White, the dancing outlaw, the actual. Well, D. Ray White was the original dancer up there, and then he died, and Jesco was the wild and crazy one that got his dancing shoes and made that movie and everything. And then, well, it was Johnny Knoxville. Again, he was the one that made that documentary that everybody talks about, the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. But he did know Jesco pretty good. But I wanted to meet Jesco because I wanted to meet Hank 3. But that never worked.
Talking about I'm not sure if I know exactly. Is that the White family that they're talking? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I haven't seen this before. I don't think what people are talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, be the beans, sloppy eggs.
It's the Whitakers. Oh, okay.
Oh, the one was talking about the Whitakers. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sharon Chilton said, born and raised in Southwest Virginia, I'm proud of it. Sorry, Sharon. You're not a hoe. I know you're not a hoe. So, just like Scott said, every town has, it's everywhere. It's not, people have their experiences with sometimes people have experiences with people or certain situations that make them kind of build opinions about certain areas. Not all women in Southwest Virginia are hoes.
Hey, Jude says, now when you get into Eastern Kentucky, that's a whole different thing. Now, easy now. I know people in Kentucky, too. Well, matter of fact, that buddy that I was telling you that hung out with that crazy man up there in Roan Mountain, his people was from Bell County, Kentucky, and Harlan County, Kentucky, which is just right across. Well, there's a couple different ways that you can get to either one of them. Depends on which way you go. Harlan and Kentucky and Bell County, Kentucky's got a lot of stories too.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Fred about. Is Harlan? Why is Harlan? I feel like there's something with Harlan.
They called it Bloody Harlan. They was when they come in years and years ago. They got documentaries on it, but I'll try to tell you the best that I can remember. It's been a long time since I watched them. They come in, the rich men come in they even wrote songs about it. And part of the song goes, the rich man came in waving $100 bills, saying we'll buy the minerals from your ground. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of rich people come in and bought up all these people's land and started mining it. And they paid them minimal and worked them to the bone. And when they had died, they'd just throw them out of the mine and throw another one in there, work him until he died. And what the people did, since they owned all the land and owned all the mines and paid the people, the rich people rented the houses to the workers and owned all the general stores where the people bought their groceries at. So the people would go to work till their death to get paid a minimal fee and turn around and have to pay it right back to the same man that paid them to buy their groceries and pay their rent for their houses. So essentially they were mining the coal for free, and the rich man was getting richer and the poor men were dying. It's basically what it amounted to.
Yeah.
And people started getting tired of it, fed up with it.
If this didn't happen in Harlan, is that what you're saying? Are you saying that this happened in Harlan?
Yeah. But there was there was more stuff that was going on along with that too. And they ended up having like town meetings over it. And some people was on one side and some people was on another. And then they start arguing and bickering against each other. And then there was people, standing out blocking the roads so the coal trucks couldn't get in. And I'm talking blocking the roads with shotguns aimed at the trucks, the coal trucks. So there the coal driver was trying to earn a living to feed his family, but he's fixing to get shot if he goes through that line of the people that was against him. But at the same time, he had to live there in that same community as the people that was fighting against the coal companies. So it was a big mess. Big mess, because the neighbors started hating each other because, like I said, some of them was for it, some of them was against it. And the ones that was, just trying to earn a living, they felt like that they was getting shafted because they were just trying to feed their families. But the other people, they was ready to, to kill the people that remained working for the coal company. It was a mess. And hence the name Bloody Harlan.
Wow. And that's right over there. And isn't that like Ernie Shell's stomping grounds?
Matter of fact, yeah, I think he is from up in there. Yeah, that is. Isn't that where? I don't really follow Ernie, but I think
Bill.
Isn't that where his brother killed that guy? Was Harlan?
Yes, near Everts. Yep.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, like Harlan. And then I hear from, looked into this Bill Shipley guy. He has ties to Harlan too, and it's just like so many people in Beech Creek have ties to this Harlan area. I know that. I don't know if it has to do with the cockfighting or what. I think partially it might, from what Fred told me, if I'm remembering right. But it is weird. So Daisy's from that area too.
Yeah, seems like I heard that too. That her and Jinkies was from there.
Yeah, so it's just weird, but I mean, right? Probably just a coincidence, I guess. I don't know. Lots of coinky dinks. Lots of cows in Kentucky also. Well, there's only one of them on Daisy's farm, though. Remember that. So if there is, well, I don't know if she lives in Kentucky, but I don't know for sure. I think that she's from that area, Harlan. It's just weird because Harlan, that's like kind of far from. It's not really close to Beech Creek, so it's just so strange that Harlan just keeps coming up surrounding these people and the Summer Wells case.
Well, back in those days, there wasn't no big cities around in this area here. So it was nothing to, for us to hop in a car and have to go somewhere and it take 30 minutes, 40 minutes because you got to drive to the next city. That's nothing to us. That's just kind of like part of it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's different now, that things have grown up and a lot of the farmlands have been sold off and stuff like that, and put the bigger interstates through and the bigger roads, and the population is, increasing and stuff like that. But, years ago there wasn't, and I'm not talking that many years either, when you look at it in time scale, let's see. My nanny ma was from Baileyton, and I remember she came up here in a horse and buggy, and she lived to almost 100, and she's been dead a few years now. So you just figure 100 years is not really that long of a time, considering when she was a kid, they were traveling in horses and buggies, and now people are, flying in airplanes and driving electric cars, and
yeah, right.
I mean, you watching TV, and me and you are talking on a computer screen, and
Yep.
I don't know how many miles away from me you are, but your state's away from me. Your state's away from Fred, but you're talking to him on a little black box called a cell phone. And so it's.
Yeah.
But it's like my grandmothers, neither one of my grandmothers ever learned how to drive a car. Neither one of them ever had a driver's license. Never had a need to. Because it was the men that was always doing the work, and they were raising the kids,
Yeah.
Back then, you could live that way, that was, like normal. Now, everybody's got to work, in the family, and sometimes work a couple of jobs and 2 or 3 jobs and still can't make it. But back then you could do that, you could raise a family and the man go to work and the woman stay home and take care of the house, tend to the kids. And Justin said his grandmother didn't drive it either.
Yeah, my grandparents did. Even see, that life is so foreign to me, really, because until I've been introduced to, I lived in Oklahoma and a kind of that was a little bit, but my grandparents, they have college degrees and stuff like that. So like, it's very, I don't, now my dad grew up on a farm. Like,
well, see, that's a funny thing. Like my grandpa I was telling you about that had to drop out of school.
Yeah.
In 3rd grade. He retired as a master mechanic from Eastman. So he was able to do that on a 3rd grade education. But he was smart. He could learn things, But Lord, no, there wasn't.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't have college education. Like I said, he didn't even have high school education. Well, he probably got one when he went to the Army. I don't know. He's been dead for years and years. But, he wasn't a dumb guy just because he didn't have schooling, He learned along the way, but he didn't have, like your grandparents, that kind of school. No, definitely not. Did you grow up in like city life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now my grandmother, she was like a lot, like, gosh, she was 13, got married at 13, and I think my grandfather was like 24 or something, when they lived on a farm and were together. And she didn't have, or an education or anything. They had the whole farm life and stuff like that. But yeah, my dad ended up going to college. He was the first on that, I guess, on that side of the family. But on my mom's side, my grandfather went to college, had a college degree. But yeah, I know that. I mean, my grandmother, she just worked at Kroger. That was.
My granddad, or my dad rather, he went back to college, or went to college. He dropped out of high school when he was 17 and went to the Air Force. And then when he got out of the Air Force, he went to work for the city of Kingsport as a police officer. And that wasn't paying the bills.
Yeah.
My sister was on the way. And that's when he got on at the power company. But they paid a lot more than what the city paid him to be a policeman. And then he, after us kids got older, like, oh gosh, best I can remember, like 10 or 12 or something like that, Mom went back to work, and she worked for a lawyer. And Dad went back to school at night and got his education that way. And then he, really started moving up in the ranks in his work with the power company. So he was more of the guy that was, he wasn't out digging holes and setting poles, as they used to say. He was, he wore nice clothes, and traveled to Columbus, Ohio, and everywhere that American Electric Power or Appalachian Electric Power, they changed the name from Kingsport Power throughout the years, but he traveled around and made the big decisions, and then he had the education to do it. He went to school and learned all about computers and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, now we're getting to a time where now it's like back to, you really don't even need an education to really make money now. I mean, you can become rich online, or there's so many. The internet has created so much potential. So I don't know. Fred was just talking about how times have changed a lot. He said he said something about the poor eat steaks now and the rich eat bologna. What? He said poor eat steaks, rich eat bologna back then. Now the rich eat steak and the poor eat bologna.
Yeah.
Times have changed a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Back then, the poor people, they were the ones that was raising the cattle and slaughtering them and, filling their freezers with steaks and stuff like that. So there's a lot of truth in that for sure. But there's places, which I don't get out much now like I used to, and I'm sure it's that way everywhere. Even down, where Fred's from, down in Beach Creek and stuff. I can remember driving around, and it seemed like, of course, there wasn't near as many houses as, like I said, and population wasn't as big, but I mean, it seemed like there was just every road that you went down was cornfields or tobacco fields or hay fields. They were either raising hay for their cattle, or they were raising corn or raising tobacco. Yeah. And just acres and acres and acres, as far as you could see. You could drive, 2 or 3 miles, it seemed like, on one road, and it would still be the same property and nothing but just tobacco as far as you could see. And now it's nothing like that. Nothing like that. Now it's, houses and subdivisions and condos, all that stuff, which I understand, because a lot of the people that, well, like you were saying, you know, when the internet came along and computers came along, and back when a college education meant something,
I know.
the people, the kids didn't want to farm because they could work a lot easier, work smarter, not harder, you know, kind of deal.
Yeah.
And make more money, and it was easier to raise their families, and, you know, not near the manual work that it takes to keep the farm up. So when their mom and dads would die, you know, they would sell off their farms and buy them a nice big old house on a hill somewhere and some nice cars, and raise their kids up. And but like you said, now after a couple of decades of that, or maybe a couple of generations, I guess, probably more closer to it, now it's like, you know, do we really even need college education now, because the internet has come so far?
You can get whatever knowledge you need online. You know, you can teach yourself whatever, you know, really, if you have the willpower or the drive to, really, you can learn anything. It's crazy, but it's also full of misinformation too, which we see all the time here in just this little community. So, and in the Summer Wells case,
Well, I tell you, you can go on the internet and you can find, I'll just use an example just because I heard this on a commercial on one of the ads on a video I was watching today about eggs. You can go on the internet and find just as many articles that say eggs will kill you as you can saying that eggs are healthy and eat as many as you want. So, I mean, what do? You know, are they healthy or aren't they healthy? Go to the internet and look up, are eggs healthy? And you're going to find an equal amount of articles saying they are as they are saying they aren't. And it's, I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. I mean, it's just like politics. You know, you read one article and it'll say, you know, this politician is more crooked than his running mate, who's the angel, and then you can find just as many articles saying the opposite about the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you really have to be selective with the internet on what you're reading, where it's coming from, and make sure it's not somebody.
And I learned in college, you know, how to tell if something is a scholarly source or peer reviewed or whatever. But, you know,
Right.
College is it's really not. I don't know. It's kind of sad because the people put a lot of time and money into a college education, you know, and it's kind of sad that it's kind of becoming, you know, really just not. It's still a great to get a college education that's like a great thing and great goal, I guess. But it's just sad to think it's getting obsolete, I guess. I don't know what else to. Why is it now I'm hearing nicotine is okay? Oh, that's what Jim used to try to say. I'm not even joking, guys. Addiction does a lot to your freaking. When you're addicted to something, you can make yourself believe anything. He used to try to. I swear, Jim used to try to argue with me about how cigarettes were actually good for you. I was like, are you freaking
Hey,
what?
you just put that in there, and I'm just now typing out laughing emojis because that's a Jody Sue thing there. her Marlboros cure her cancer.
She says it's good for her. The cigarettes are good for you. Is that really what Jody Sue says?
She said one time something about, it was like, well, actually, the type of cancer that I have, cigarettes are not bad for. Well, I'm like, okay, how many doctors do you want to run that by? Are there any cancers that cigarettes are beneficial for?
Hey, but
My mom, this is stuff I could never figure out. I remember my mom, when she had breast cancer, they told her not even to eat grilled out food anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of just, like if you burn it a little bit, it creates some kind of, like if there's any char on it, I don't know exactly what it was, but that was something that would affect the, of course they did a partial mastectomy on mom, so they got all the cancer out of there. And then she did chemotherapy and then radiation and all that kind of stuff. And then had medicine she had to take on top of that. But yeah, it was something. Yeah, somebody said it. Genevieve said it there because of the char on it. It was something that had to do with it. So, I mean, if you can't even eat grilled food with a little bit of char on it, smoking 40 Marlboros a day, every day, damn sure can't be good for you.
If that's all she smokes is two, but I mean, I would bet, oh my God, I bet she's pushing like 4 packs a day. Like she is wow.
Yeah.
Jim smoked a lot. Like he was, but man, does she like, whoa. I bet she is 3 to 4 packs a day, like 3 minimum. Gosh. I watched Sarah Plays when we got one.
Danny H is saying yes to the carbon. So yeah, there's got to be something to that. But they even said that there was, like, they didn't even want her gardening. They didn't even want her like digging in the dirt. It was all kinds of weird rules. She didn't pay attention to that one much. She always likes having a little garden. She's 81. She turned 81 just a couple of weeks ago.
Sorry. Fred just sent me the funniest message. I don't know if I should read it or not. About Jody's tail. Oh no, I don't know if I should say it because then we're gonna be. No, I don't know. He said, so we were talking about cigarettes, okay? And he just says, and I'll just kind of say, he just says that she needs to smoke at least 2 more packs a day. Like, and then he goes on to say walking. Anyways, sorry. I wasn't expecting that comment. I don't know if it's possible for her to smoke 2 more packs a day. Like, seriously, it's like back to back to back to back to back. So
I think somehow we're going to have to fit more than 24 hours into the day before she could do that.
Oh.
I always think it's funny, which you notice this with a lot of people, that whenever she's getting ready to make some, groundbreaking statement or something, she'll get that look on her face and turn that head and take that real provocative draw off that cigarette.
Yeah.
And then she'll spill out the tea, you know, whatever it is, and it's like, oh, the optics on that, you know, you've got to.
Yep. Yeah.
You know when you see that look and that big draw, that real fanciful draw, that boy, you buckle up, you getting ready to get something.
Yep, she smokes 3 to 4 packs a day easy, says Genevieve. Yep. Went through chemo, mastectomy, 5 years old. I smoke off brand, $4, $10. Yeah, it's $30 a day for cigarettes. Will make, gosh. Does she? And she smokes the brand name too, doesn't she? I think she does.
I hope she keeps on smoking them, because I own a lot of stock in Altria, the company that owns the division of the sells Marlboro in the United States. So,
hey, it's sad. I mean, that's just the truth, though. When it's smart, because nicotine's always going to sell. People are, I mean.
Well, they pay me 98 cents for every share that I own every 3 months. So keep on smoking, smokers.
I know. Genevieve said, I genuinely worried for her daughter, and her cats were always sick as fuck, not able to breathe. You remember those poor cats sneezing and respiratory issues constantly, and she never took them to. Well, I'm still waiting on her. On this to be served the civil order. Like, I'm still waiting. We're now to the next month, the 21st, like a whole month almost after she said she was gonna serve this order. So she has a whole new YouTube check to. We're still waiting. Gosh.
Yeah, Marlene.
I know. That's so bad for you. I know.
Marlene Clausen, she knows what I'm talking about. Sin stocks is what they call them, SIN. And I just replied to her, I own British Tobacco also, because they pay a big dividend as well. I mean, I can't say Danny H says, well, that's why they call them sin stocks, Danny, because some people do have an issue with owning stock in a company that produces things that are bad for you. But
is that really why they're called that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But there's certain things that I won't own, like I'll own a tobacco stock and not have any problem with it, but I will not own a Chinese stock, because I believe in America. This is my country. I'm not going to make them rich.
Yeah.
I will own, for instance, I won't own Target because of some of their ideologies and woke policies. I won't own Anheuser-Busch because of their ideologies and stuff, because it's just, I'm going to support the things that the companies that I believe in, that I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the things. If you want to, of course, you always have to do your research on things, but you own things that you believe in. You own company. You're not buying the stock. You're buying a piece of the company. Now, I don't smoke anymore, but I used to smoke. I smoked Marlboros for years, and then I swapped over to Camels. And then at the end of it, I was smoking Pall Malls. Now I still do vape, get nicotine that way, but gas and energy. That's another thing. I believe in gas and energy. I don't believe all of this green stuff that, we're not going to have. Everybody's going to be riding around in hovercrafts and electric vehicles by 2030. And they're going to phase out gasoline and everything, all oil products. Well, what are you going to do about plastic? And what are you going to do about tires? And what are you going to do about computer cases and cell phone cases and kitchen utensils and everything in the electricity and power? And heat? What are you going to do for all of these people that depend on hospitals that depend on plastic IV bags and catheters and hospital beds, and anything in the world that you can name is here because of oil or coal or liquid natural gas. So I'm a big believer in energy companies. So I own 2 tobacco companies, I own 2 energy companies. I own some financial companies because I believe in what they do. I own, in other words, things that you believe in. If Walmart's always going to be there, or it's going to be there through my lifetime. I've got a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
Walmart's something that's pretty much recession proof. Everybody shops at Walmart. Everybody's always going to shop at Walmart. And then you've got people that my next stock that I'm going to start buying into is Starbucks.
Yeah.
McDonald's is another one. I mean, there's so many things that, and some there again, some people would say that, it's unethical to buy Walmart because they put all the mom and pop stores out of business. And then some people would say, Starbucks because, caffeine's not good for you. And then some people are going to say McDonald's because fast food isn't good. You can come up with an unethical reason for everything, but you just have to make your own decision about, what you can live with being invested in and what you.
True. So it's like that whole thing about just because something is legal doesn't mean it's, morally right, I guess. I mean, it's kind of that whole thing. You have to decide. Anyways, I am super tired and so I'm going to get off here, guys.
You need to go. You were going to go over there and on your other channel and read.
I was, but now I've been on here for 3 hours. This was supposed to be like a quick thing, but it's okay. I won't be on the rest, guys. I doubt it. I'm like tired, so. But thank you so much for coming up here. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for asking Fred about that stuff, and I'm not going to say that it completely eased my mind because I still wonder why Don did that. I think there's something bigger than. But I like I said, I don't have. It's nice to hear Fred say that it would be really, really hard, and with like I said, if y'all want to discuss it offline, and maybe there's something he didn't want to say, out loud right now at this particular thing, but or this particular time might be something I want to talk about, in private and kind of discuss this. Maybe there's.
He probably needs to see the video. It's probably a good start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that it is. It's just a question that's been looming in my mind, and you want to put as much as you can to rest, but at the same time, you got to leave everything on the table too. If there's any chance whatsoever, and I heard him talking about that, and I was like, well, I know there's trails all over that place because, I drove trucks on some of them, but I'm also smart enough to know that they go down, like he said, down to walking trails, to where, a person can walk, and then up from that you can ride a horse or a dirt bike, and then up from that a four-wheeler, and then up from that a Jeep, and then trucks. But it's just something that I've always wondered. So thank you for
yeah, he just messaged and said, I don't hold back. Yeah, he just doesn't. He's just not the type to hold back.
Good deal. Tell him I appreciate. Well, he can hear me. Thank you, Fred, for answering that. Hang in there with that recovery.
Yeah, appreciate I'm sure he appreciates that for sure. All right, guys. Good night.
I'm gonna shut down and I'll let you finish up.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, good night. All right, guys, I am gonna go. You hate Walmart? Oh, thank you, and Nina, so much earlier for that the Cash App, and I will make sure that that gets towards what you sent it for. So, thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.